Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. We will hear today about the fifth verse of Srila Prema Bhakti Candrika of Narottam Das Thakur, and he is praising and lovingly sharing his realization with his guru's mercy that he got and that he feels. And it's a very famous verse. It's about the song Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Satma. And I chose the fifth verse because it is very deep and it's very enlightening to hear about that. Here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Chakshudan diloye jamne jamne prabhu se dibya gyan ride prakashito. He who opened my eyes is my Lord, birth after birth. He revealed divine knowledge within my heart. From him ecstatic, loving devotion emanates. Prema Bhakti Jaha heute, from him ecstatic loving devotion emanates. He destroys all ignorance, and his glories are sung by the Vedas. Prema Bhakti Jaha heute, that is, the Prema Bhakti is emanating from Sri Guru. Why? Because constantly Sri Guru is living in that, feeling it, and also meditating on it and sharing with us, so we can also have some taste of this Prema Bhakti. And then what happens? Avidya vinashayate. Then ignorance is destroyed. The Prema Bhakti is like the sunshine that will dissolve all the fogginess of the mind, of the emotion, and of our path to, being fixed in our Prema Bhakti sadhana. So that is destroying the ignorance, and Sri Guru's glories are sung by the Vedas. So that is so beautiful of a prayer. And it's so emotional to really go deep into it, how my eyes are being opened. And it takes sometimes long time, because we always want to forget again. We have a tendency to be covered again. So Narottam Das says it is birth after birth. It is an ongoing process. It started maybe not only in this lifetime, maybe even in some other lifetimes. That to meditate and that to really, really go deeply in touch with will awaken my feelings and my connection to Sri Guru, and I will not be complacent. I will not be lazy about my relationship to Sri Guru. I will go deep, and I will really make it my everyday connection to live in that gratitude and live in the vibration of the sound of Sri Guru that is helping me to grow. Jai Gurudev. So again, the whole verse. He who opened my eyes is my Lord, birth after birth. He reveals divine knowledge within my heart. From him, ecstatic love and devotion emanates. And he destroys all ignorance, and his glories are sung by the Veda. Now I will continue with the purport. Divine knowledge. It's actually a purport of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Very, very special. Although the living entity who is Krishna's eternal servant consists of pure spirit, he has forgotten his constitutional position and has been in the grip of the Lord's external, illusory energy since beginningless times. Thus, he considers his gross material body to be himself, I, and his relationships like family, and friends and children to be mine. Thus, according to his cravings and conditionings, he wears different bodies and wanders around in the material world, suffering the intolerable pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. So that we have all experienced how boring it is to be in this material world and to continue reliving certain situations in our lives, like any kind of issues concern to the body, concerning the mind and emotions. We have been trying to be very happy, trying to be constantly satisfied, but we have been also noticing that it doesn't work. And it doesn't work for many. One of the first things when I was a child and I was looking at the world from a little bit of a wandering stage of, like being observing, I thought, why is everyone who wants to be happy not so much happy all the time? And this is what is that answer, that we try to be happy, but this place where we are right now is full of temporary and imperfect relationships, imperfect karmas, and we are always bound to be going up and down. So how to overcome this and how to get out of it? How to become really eternally happy from the soul? Worshipping Sri Krishna under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Guru is the only means to become free from this misery. That is what Narottam Das Thakur is giving advice. And also, all our gurus, they are expansions of Nittai, of the mercy, of the compassion, of Gora Nittai's mercy, to invite us to go back to our constitutional position. So when we worship Radha Mohan in the shelter of Sri Guru, that is the only way to become free of the misery of the, ongoing waves of satisfaction, dissatisfaction, suffering, and happiness, and again, disease, and, birth and death. It's going on here eternally. And you know why? Because that is the service of Mother Earth. That is also her service and the service of the illusionary energy of Maya Devi. They do also very good services because they are providing this kind of energy for all living entities to pass through, so that one day, sooner or later, the living entity will want to wake up from that dream, will want to feel the reality that is eternal. And that is only by the grace of Sri Guru. It's not possible to do it by oneself. We need a living teacher who's helping us to go through different stages, and also who feels so much compassion to feel the suffering of another living entity. That is called compassion. So when somebody sees me being here in this material world, trying to be happy, always going like going through the cycles of a washing machine, always again and again being tumbled until my consciousness becomes very, very disturbed. But by the mercy of Sri Guru, that ignorance and that indifference towards divine knowledge is, so to say, dissolved. He will, Prema Bhakti Jahaite Avidya Vinashayate. Sri Guru will give Prema, divine love. And even maybe I don't have so much knowledge about what is Prema, but I can feel if somebody has a feeling for me as a soul. And that is what makes the relationship between a disciple and a guru so special. It's the interest in the soul. It's the interest in coming out of this illusory energy and living a life full of ananda, serving Radha Mohan. So then he quotes this verse, Krishna Nitya Das, Jiva Taha Buli Gelo, Se Dosha Maya Tara Golai Bandilo. Living entity has forgotten that he is eternal servant, and due to this fault, Maya has bound him around the neck. If he worships Krishna and serves Sri Guru, the network of illusion will snap, and he will attain Krishna's lotus feet. So whatever we do in our bhakti, it is always glorious to connect myself to my Sri Guru and also help others to connect. That is the best thing that could ever happen to any living entity. Even they don't believe it, that doesn't matter. But they will feel it. I remember, Gurudev, when you were giving initiation to my mom, how touched she was. I was dragging my mother to meet Sadhu Maharaj. I was dragging her. My mother was kind of, special personality, very complicated personality. She would always change her mind, always, every day, 10 times. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. So I said, Mom, this time is a very special time. You can meet a sadhu, a realized soul from India, and this person wants to meet you. And my mother said, oh, yes, I will come. And half an hour later, she would say, no, it's not a good day for me. She was kind of getting old, But then somehow, by hook or by crook, we arranged that she could meet Gurudev. It was in Karlsruhe, in Tarun Govinda Baba's house. And then it was a very special meeting. And she was so happy afterwards. Actually, she was so transformed. Gurudev was giving her so much mercy, so much causeless mercy, meeting her the first time. He gave her so much mercy that my mother completely transformed into her soul nature. And at the end, after getting initiated, she put her head on Gurudev's lap and she says, I love you. She became like a little girl. She became like a little Dasi. So that's what the power of Sri Guru is helping us to become realized, even if someone has a liking or interest or, anything, if they don't know anything, but they will be touched by the grace of Nitai. And by giving initiation, Baba says, by giving initiation and instructions, Sri Gurudev will save the student from the ocean of birth and death, opening his deluded physical eyes that are unable to perceive Godhead and making them qualified to perceive spiritual things, and thus blessing the disciple with the ambrosial relish of bhajan. So that is already in itself so inspiring that Sri Guru is opening the eyes, opening the spiritual eyes. That's what we were talking and hearing lately also. What is the meaning of real eyes? Realization, real eyes, to have real eyes to perceive spiritual reality. That is what Sri Guru is giving to all those souls who are, somehow coming in contact. And what they could not perceive before, they will perceive now. It might take some time, but it will be there. We have to, have this firm faith in that. It will work on myself, on ourselves, and it will work on all others who are bringing people, souls, in the contact with Sri Guru. And then blessing the disciple with the ambrosial relish of bhajan. So that is very inspiring, right? ambrosial relish of bhajan. It comes through Shri Guru. It is not my doing, actually. It's just like I am preparing myself to receive, like I put on the internet, and I hope that the connection will work. But then actually I cannot do nothing so that it may work. I can just have a faith and a hope that, the energies will meet and Shri Guru will help me, and my heart may be pure enough so that I can receive this divine knowledge inside. And now comes really like such a sweet, inspiring text about how the spiritualization is taking place. Here, along with the eyes, Chakshudan Diloyen, he's opening my eyes. It is indicated that the other senses of the practitioner also become spiritualized. It's really, I got another inspiration now, Gurudev. You said realize, and then spiritual eyes is also spiritualized. These are the real eyes who are spiritualized. And that's the process of spiritualization. And thus, they are made suitable for worship. Because if I don't feel what I do, if I don't feel that it has any value, the conditioned soul will not do it. She will not, be inspired to do it. But the soul who has developed real eyes, who has become, spiritual eyes, this soul will always be eager to hear and always be eager to be inspired and always, develop big ears to listen from Shri Guru. Because maybe 10 people will listen something, but not every person will hear the same thing. So in the same way, I maybe have heard from Shri Guru about some stories, and I have heard the Leelas, and I have heard, the Tattva, maybe I have heard. But I tell you, every time can be the time that will feel like a fresh, new realization is coming. And our Gurudev is giving this example, listening again and again and again, the text of Shri Vilapa Kushmanjali, Radha Rasudhanidhi, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, and Prema Bhakti Candrika. And every time we hear it, it's like, wow, it's something that makes us feel enlightened and feel really like, wow, this is a new subject. I never heard from it before like this. And that is because the senses become spiritualized. They become deeper and they have more capacity to hear. And that we have heard is like drinking with the ears. Drinking, like it goes inside and it goes down here to the heart and something comes from it and some purification take place and some realizations happen. That is our spiritualization. And here Baba says, all the senses of the practitioner become spiritualized and are made suitable for worshipping. And the purport of this is that mundane senses and minds are not fit to worship Shri Krishna. Yeah, that sounds a little bit tough. Oh my God, what I was doing so far, it was for nothing. No, of course, it is not for nothing, but it's a preparation. Because the spiritual eyes, the spiritual senses, only then when they are, so to say, used and ripened, then we can, on the soul level, go in deeper meditations of our services. When Sri Gurudev gives initiation mantra, being subdued by feelings of causeless compassion, the disciple exclaims, "Oh Shri Guru, oh embodiment of deep compassion, please save me, who I am scorched by the fire of material existence and grabbed by the force of time." Oh Lord, I am surrendered unto you. So this is also interesting for us to feel. That is the attitude, the feeling of one disciple who has, really like opened the heart to Shri Guru, and not just use Shri Guru as a priest or as a blessing in my life, as a, I was initiated once by such and such Maharaj. Yes, that was that time. No, this is an ongoing deep relationship. And that is actually what saves me from the ongoing misunderstanding of who I am. So this is a very sweet attitude. Save me. I am scorched by fire of material existence. I'm like burning here. I'm still burning. Save me. Oh Lord, I'm surrendered to you. I want to serve you. I want to go, through this life and maybe other lives together with you. Please help me. Please accept me. And then when the disciple exclaims this and surrenders their body, mind, and life heirs to Sri Guru, anointed, then the Guru, with his touch of the power of the ambrosial principle of Godhead, and anointed with his own compassion, which acts like a touchstone that turns iron into gold, and along with the power of his own devotion, filled with this worship of the Lord, infuses devotion into the body, mind, and life heirs of the disciple, thus making the disciple's body and senses qualified for the transcendental devotional service of the Lord's, of Swamini's lotus feet. So this is very long sentence, and I want to go a little bit, part by part, because this is very deep. So when the disciple is surrendering in such a way that they really realize they are grabbed by the influence of time and karma and, conditions that are beyond my own capacity to overcome. When I have this feeling, then Sri Guru, who has the touch of the power of the ambrosial principle of Godhead, means he has the touch of Bhakti. He is empowered by Srimati Radhika. So she is empowering Sri Guru. And he has also, this personality has so much compassion, has a feeling for other souls. It's not like, oh, there's another soul. Yeah, good luck. Go ahead with your karma. I will bless you. No. Every soul that comes in front of Sri Guru needs to be, touched somehow and helped. And that's a deep feeling. That is also, there's two feelings that Sri Guru has. Sri Guru has compassion to those souls who come, but also Sri Guru feels that every soul that comes to me is sent to me by my Sri Guru. So I can help them, I can serve. And also my Sri Guru is testing me. How do I relate? How is my motivation? How is my heart condition? How can I connect with every soul and see them as the wonderful, perfect soul they are? And how can I help them to discover that and live that every step of their lives? So that is the own compassion. It's a combination of Sri Guru's mercy, its own compassion, and also the ambrosial nectar or the ambrosial principle of Godhead, means Sri Radhika or Ananga Manjari Nitai. They are all actually the source of Guru Tattva. So they help Sri Guru to act like a touchstone that turns iron into gold. So every disciple that comes is like an iron rod. It's a stiff, hard, consciousness that needs to be softened, needs to be melted. The heart needs to be melted. And that, Sri Guru puts this into the fire of devotion. And then through the fire of devotion, the heart that is like a iron rod, it melts and it becomes also, fire. And when the heart of the disciple is set on fire, then Sri Guru can also help these disciples to help others who come in contact. That is the principle of Guru Tattva, and it's passed on to all those who want to serve Srimati Radhika, to bring more and more dasis back to her lotus feet. So that is interesting. It's the empowerment by Sri Radhika, by Ananga Manjari, then the own compassion of Sri Guru that acts like a touchstone, and then also the power of Sri Guru's own devotion. Sri Guru has been doing devotion for one whole lifetime. Maybe we don't see it, but that has a power, that has like a big container. There's a big container. And Sri Guru can take, any time as they feel inspired, and if they feel more compassion to a disciple that is more helpless, and it really, eager to get mercy, can give the power of their own devotion. So there are so many varieties how this mercy principle of Sri Guru, together with Nitai, with Srimati Radhika, with Mohan, how they all work together to get the souls, the next level, to get them out of this, repeated cycle of birth and death. And thus making the disciples' body and senses qualified for the transcendental devotional service of the Lord's lotus feet. So that is amazing, no? Body and senses means the body, yes, I am in this body, but how to develop my spiritual senses, Sri Guru will help me with that, because they are living in their transcendental senses. So how can I, please help me. Oh, Gurudev, help me. I am unqualified. I'm useless. But by your mercy and with my own also eagerness and this coupled, that makes a very, very good combination so that the result can be very positive. So, and what happens? Then the body, mind, and senses of the sadhaka have thus become spiritualized and merged into the worship of the Lord. And only by Guru's grace it can be accomplished that this stays in every limb of the body. Wow. So this process of spiritualization is like a merging into service, the sevaras that we hear, the merging into the desire to every moment, every second to feel I'm connected. I want to, everything I say, everything I do, I want it to be, spiritual. And I have to spiritualize myself by the mercy of Sri Guru. And then by Sri Guru's grace again, it can be accomplished that this stays in the body. So that is an indication that it can be on and off, right? It can be on and off. And we all know this feeling of on and off. Sometimes ping, sometimes pong. But by the mercy of Sri Guru, it can stay and be felt in every limb of the body. And that's what we desire, that we have continuous connection, continuous realizations, and that continuously I remember who I am and I'm living it. It's not only I try, I want to live it. It's my firm conviction, and Sri Guru is waiting for this. When this comes, this day and this moment and these feelings, then Sri Guru will help us more and more to come into our spiritual senses all the time. In this way, Guru's grace will make the body and the mind of the disciple suitable for the worship of the lotus feet of Sri Radha Mohan, offers them to the Lord's lotus feet, and establishes a specific relationship of the living entity with the Lord. And we remember how Gurudev was always sharing with us how he felt when he had this experience with his Gurudev. He was seeing that his Gurudev was taking him in a spiritual body as a, very small dasi to the lotus feet of Radha Mohan. And that is what's mentioned here. Shri Guru's grace will make the body and mind of the disciples suitable. Offers the body and the mind of the disciple, means the spiritual existence of that, in our eternal soul bodies. He offers them to Radha Mohan and then establishes a specific relationship. So that is the mercy of Shri Guru. And in our case, we have been blessed that Shri Guru is putting us to the lotus feet of Radha Mohan and giving us the service to be able to serve as a small manjari. And therefore, Srila Thakur Mahashai says, Chakshudan diloye, jamne prabhu se, dipya gyan rede prakashito. He opened my physical eyes and enabled me to perceive the principle of Godhead by opening them and turning them into devotional eyes, anointed with the ointment of love. So this verse let's say that verse of our Shri Guru Charana Padma, when we are singing this with deep realizations of the meaning of it, it has so much power. Immediately we will start crying because we remember what is the mercy of Shri Guru with me in my life. And still I have not so many realizations. I'm just a fool, but Shri Guru will never give up on me, so I also don't want to give up on me. So he opens my eyes that are like a matter, a ball of flesh. But then when the opening has been transformed to a spiritual eye, then the realizations come. And then I become enabled to perceive the principle of Godhead by being open to them and turning them into devotional eyes, anointed with the ointment of love. And then I will see you everywhere. Wherever I look, I will see you, Srimati Radhika. Wherever I look, I will see my Guru Manjari. And when he is pleased and places the power of his grace in the heart of the disciple, divine knowledge is revealed there through his instructions and initiation into Krishna mantra. This is Shri Guru, the bestower of love for Radha Krishna and knowledge about them, is my Lord and Master, birth after birth, and I am his servant, birth after birth. This statement shows that the relationship between Shri Guru and the disciple and the eternity of that relation is real. At this point, I just want to share that in my life, I have had some gurus. I started with being, coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada by the books of Srila Prabhupada. And then I got initiated into Mahamantra by one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And then I got initiated by Srila Narayan Maharaj. And now I am disciple of Srila Gurudev Sadhu Maharaj. And this is no contradiction. Shri Guru is a transcendental principle that is guiding the soul through all the different developments. And according to the desire of the soul, how deep they want to go, they also get a Shri Guru accordingly to that. And it's not that at one point, I don't need any teachers anymore. That will only be there when I am self-realized. Srila Narayana said, when I have a Divya Gyan and Divya Darshan, I have transcendental knowledge and I have seen the truth with my own spiritual eyes. But the principle of Shri Guru is eternal. It is Nitai. It is Srimati Radhika who has become Antaranga to serve Mohan in this universe wherever he goes. and serving all the living entities by inviting them to come back to their lotus feet, to the service of Mohan. That's what Srimati Radhika does. So Guru Tattva is Radha Tattva. It's deeply connected and inseparable. And so when the disciple has deep desire to go really deep into their spiritual existence and living in their spiritual divine senses more and more, then we will be under the shelter of Rupa Manjari. And Rupa Manjari will give us also, when we have been tested and we have been, the hearts have been melted, the iron rod has become fire, we will go in the shelter of Ananda. And she will give us the shelter and the service of the Mother. That is the divine revelation of Guru Tattva, which is Radha Tattva. And I remember also when I was investigating about where Srila Prabhupada would ever have mentioned something about the spiritual body, and there are parts in the books. Then I remember also I was reading one letter of one Rishikeshananda Maharaj, who was a Radhe Gurudev?
अरे तो भाई बात हम लोग नहीं जानते हैं, जिसका रसीद नहीं कटवा उसका मतलब.
I hope. So Srila Prabhupada was telling this disciple, that disciple was actually very special, had a special training. He was trained in Vrindavan. Although Srila Prabhupada was traveling all over the world, Srila Prabhupada left this one disciple in Vrindavan, and he was there in one temple where he got to listen about all the truth of Manjari Bhav and how we are dasis of Srimati Radhika, and how our guru is Srimati Radhika's dasi, and that we have a spiritual body and that we have eternal relationship with Sri Guru. So like this, he was asking Guru Srila Prabhupada about it. And it's actually very interesting because at that time, Srila Prabhupada was translating one of his last books, and that is the Upadeshamrita. And as we know, in the 10th and 11th verses of Upadeshamrita, Srila Prabhupada is also writing about Dasi Bhav and being a maidservant of Srimati Radhika as the highest goal in Bhakti. And in these verses also he mentions Srila Rupa Goswami's revelations on that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, how we always meditate on being inhabitant of Vrindavan. And then also the disciple, at one point, he wanted to ask Srila Prabhupada, and then so we are all connected and we are all, we are all the eternal dasis, and then how it will be revealed to me. He wanted to know about his Siddhadeha. He had heard about that. And then Srila Prabhupada said, it is revealed through Shri Guru. And when the time is right for you, Shri Guru will reveal it. He wouldn't give like, I will reveal it to you. And then he said, no, there's no consideration of time or place, but Shri Guru will give it. So that when I read that, I also thought, that is the eternity of Guru Tattva and the eternity of us being guided. And once also Gurudev Sadhu Maharaj said to me, once we have our Svarup Guru, that is the end. It's the last Guru in our lifetime. That soul is so much connected with us that they will guide us to Srimati Radhika's service. So I thought that was a very, personal and blissful inspiration to meditate about and to always be in the gratitude and in that deep feeling of how important Shri Guru is for my life. They will not do it for us, but they will give their own power of devotion. They will give their own compassion. They will give their own, feelings in their services into our hearts when we are really eager for it. And that is the key, as we know. It will be the key, and it's always the key. Gurudev, if you would like to share on this or you enlighten us, did I say something wrong? Oops. now gone, huh? This internet, it does what it likes. I'm completely out of control. So, yes, that was actually such an amazing purport and such an amazing explanation of how Sri Guru is spiritualizing or making the body and mind of the disciples suitable for the worship of the lotus feet. And we can only say that, of course, when they are elevated souls like our Gurudev, then his Guru was taking him in front of the lotus feet, and Gurudev could even see it. He could perceive of it. He has then already spiritual eyes. So some souls, they come with so much, power of devotion and so much connection that this service is not the first time they do this service. And Srimati Radhika and Nitai, they are using them. But that does not say that it's not impossible for us to also become a powerful tool in the hands of Sri Guru, because Sri Guru is always waiting for the disciples to also become, inspired and full of fire of bhakti and full of love. Radhe, Radhe. I think Gurudev has a room full of people there. So this Sri Guru, the bestower of love for Mohan and Radha and knowledge about them, is my Lord and Master, birth after birth, and I am his servant, birth after birth. This statement shows the relationship between the Guru and the disciple and the eternity of that relationship also. Isn't that very encouraging? Usually we have relationships here in this world that are coming and going, but this relationship with Sri Guru is not only coming and going, that has eternity as its mark. And we try to become conscious of what that really means. And we are asking for help of Gurudev to always help us remember that and live in that and feel in that. And like this, helping each other to grow in our spiritual lives and realization and spiritualization. Yes, Gurudev, I'm sorry. Yeah, usually you say Guru is not the goal. It is true. But today I wanted to share something about the glories of Sri Guru, because on Guru Purnima it didn't happen. And last week also we had internet problems. So I think Guru Tattva is one of the most mysterious and glorious tattvas that I have heard. And there is no person but you, Gurudev, who has opened it to me. It was one of the first, feelings that I had when I met our Gurudev. How deep is his realization on Guru Tattva, and especially in connection to Rupanuga Bhakti. So good. Anyone of you would like to share on the subject of Guru Tattva? I would love to hear about your realizations too. We have some minutes.
Hey, Suniti, I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned about Upadeshamrita, that what is the last book which Srila Prabhupada translated. Is it possible to find this book on English language somewhere?
Oh, sure, yeah. Usually you get it in Vrindavan. In English language, yeah. I would recommend this. I know Gurudev has it in his room, and you can get it in Vrindavan. And there's different editions, but it's very easy. And also, you don't have to, you can search online. You can get the PDF online. I'm sure you get it.
Okay, because I didn't find in all Prabhupada's books, he didn't speak particularly about Manjari Baba. I cannot remember that he mentioned something directly, something concrete about this.
Yes, you can find it, and also I can inspire you to read the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 32. That's the last chapter. Also there, Gurudev mentioned Manjari Bhav, Prabhupada, I mean. So that is in the last two paragraphs of Upadeshamrita, when he is saying that Srimati Radhika, and her kunj are the highest place to realize and to become realized, then he writes in that. And we have read this also with Gurudev, but it's always inspiring to read it again and again. And if I find it online, I will send you a link. Okay?
Please.
But also Teaching of Lord Chaitanya in English, chapter 32, is very, very sweet. And in that chapter, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the mood of a manjari. And I was very enchanted by it, because Srila Prabhupada writes that the manjaris don't want any relationship with Krishna. They are only fixed on Srimati Radhika. But the point is, we are looking for it. We have some sentences. We have but find someone who is training you in that. Just reading about it is one thing. It's nice to hear it and to have confirmation. But the one who is training us in these feelings, that is Guru Manjari. That is the greatest mercy that we can get in this lifetime. Someone who really takes the soul like us, full of iron and stiffness, and make them melt in the fire of devotion to Srimati Radhika. That is the greatest gift. And of course, this kind of person, they show us, like our Gurudev, in every book where we find it. And the thing is, I don't know if you have noticed it, these things, they jump at you all of a sudden. You don't have to look. They just come. Because Srimati Radhika is the guiding principle in my life. So she will connect us to all these different things that we need and that we want to meditate deeply on. Okay, my dears, thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe